Hello everybody, today I'm going to be making this Christmas tree card and showing you a little haul including this stamp and die set that I bought from Chloe's Creative Cards. I do have another one coming up with a Chloe's haul which is quite a bit bigger than this haul, so hopefully you like it. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the other videos. I'll have a Crafter's Companion haul coming up as well and some makes. So yeah, so I bought a bundle of 2D embossing folders. They're mainly Christmas ones, although I think this star one could probably be used all year round, but the others are like snowflakes, reindeer, gingerbread men, women. They could do it for birthday cards, but like winter birthday cards, but you probably couldn't get away with using them all year round. But they do emboss really lovely. Although I haven't used them in the make that I'm doing today, I do catalogue everything that I buy. So you'll see in a moment when I've embossed some cardstock to put in my catalogue. As you can see, they've embossed really lovely. So I'm really looking forward to having a play with these. And then this is the stamp and die that I'll be using. It's called Oh Christmas Tree. And then I'm going to heat emboss the stamp using this tinsel green embossing powder, the watermark ink. And first of all, I cut out the shape of the tree because I find it easier. I don't do this on all stamps and dies, but for this one I find it easier. And then I will use the anti-static bag all over the cardstock to make sure it's not static, so I don't get embossing powder here, there and everywhere that I don't want it, although it wouldn't matter too much with this stamp because obviously it's all going to be green anyway. And ink up the stamp well, make sure it's all covered with the ink. However, I only go up to the star. There's a star at the top of the tree. Obviously I don't want that green, so I just go up to that. Line it up, which takes a second or two. And then make sure it's covered all over on the cardstock. Give it a few seconds for it to transfer. And then I have to use my poker tool because it's well and truly stuck. And then pour the embossing powder all over, apart from at the star at the top. Give it a couple of seconds for it to kind of take to the watermark ink, and then gently tap it off. put this away before I get in a mess and end up with it everywhere. And then because obviously I'm going to be going right to the top, I don't want to burn my fingers, so I use a little peg. I got this from somebody, it might have been Jennifer Maguire, or I don't remember 100%, but I think it might have been from Jennifer Maguire. Off screen I've preheated my heat tool. Now for some reason this embossing powder needs quite a lot longer than what I would normally do, but for some reason this needed longer than normal, and it was still coming off once I fill in the rest of the stamp, so I don't know what was going on with that embossing powder, but it seemed to like coming off. And then whilst I pick my colours that I'm going to use, I leave it to set for a few seconds and cool down. And then these watercolour markers from Spectrum Noir, and I use 2 or 3 different shades. I think it's 3. I don't use them as watercolours for this project. And then I just kind of do strokes following sort of how the stamp is going, longer ones and shorter ones, just to fill it in so it looks a nice full tree with all the different shades of green. There's some glitter going through it with the embossing powder. I am by no means a great colourist. I don't say that I am at all, but with this, you know, it's quite easy because you've got the stamp to follow, so I'm quite happy with how it looks in the end. Just kind of doing little flicks, longer flicks, shorter flicks. I do the same for all colours. And then for the star at the top, in gold glitter card, I cut the 2 little stars that you can see there, one of each, and then I glue them to the top of the star using tacky glue. I use tacky glue because it's a coated cardstock. Although the first layer is going on to normal cardstock, it is slightly overlapping with the heat embossing powder, so I use tacky glue. And then this one's the same shape as the star at the top, and then just to give it a little bit more dimension, I use the full star and place that on the top. excuse the green fingers, that's where I was getting the glitter from the embossing powder that hadn't melted, getting the glitter off my pens, which was a bit of a pain, but there we go. And then I get to, whilst that's drying, I make the top of the card. So this measures, let me just find my bit of paper with the measurements on, bear with me a sec, you might hear some fiddling around for a second. This is 6.5 by 5 inches, and then I do 2 score lines on one side and at the top, and I do them 1/4 of an inch in and 1/4 of an inch apart, just to give it a little bit of something, rather than just having it as a plain white card. Although I wanted it a fairly sort of simple card, nice sort of cleanish, simple-ish card. I wanted the tree to sort of do most of the talking on the card. And the lines do cross at the corner. And so when I'm scoring with like the wheel end first, just to break the fibres, and then to give it a nice finish I'm using the rounded end. It's like a dot type end. And then for the background, I'm just going to add some of those little stars. There's a bigger one and a smaller one, and I'm going to use this gold ink, and I'm just going to place them around where the tree would be, here, just here and there. There's no kind of rhyme or reason, they're just scattered around. These are photopolymer stamps, so they're stamped really nice. Every now and again I just hold the tree just to see where it's going to be. then this is going to be my matte layer, and it's gold glitter card, which is the same as the gold glitter on the tree star. And I'm going to gut the card, so I cut it all the way round at 3/4 of an inch, and then if nobody knows what that means, obviously the middle will then come out, and it means I can use the middle on other projects, or on this one, which I actually do use it on this one. I think 3/4 of an inch is quite a good depth. It's still rigid enough to work with, so it's not too flimsy. It's just a very slim border. So the mat of this one is cut the same as the card base, so the card base ends up to be 6 3/4 by 5 1/4. Obviously on the width of the card base you need to cut it 6 3/4 up, and then you need to double the 5 1/4, so that obviously you can fold your card base in half. I don't really know why I trimmed that to make it look nice, because you don't actually see any of that. I think that's just the way I'm made. And then this is actually double-sided, it's got double-sided sticky already on the back, which is a little bit annoying really, because I didn't realise until I'd started to cut it, so I could have saved this and used the other gold glitter card that I've got and stuck it with my own glue. But never mind, I had already started cutting it before I noticed, so it was too late by then. Plus I like to go glitter glue normally, just to give me that bit of wiggle room, but it works out fine. I notice I've only peeled like the backing sheet to expose the glue halfway. I'm just working up in little sections just so that I can make sure that it's straight before I pull it all off, and it's easier to work with as well then. And then I decided the bottom of the tree needs a trunk, so I've used the embossing folder, and I had some cardstock, wood effect cardstock from this little card pack, which is, this one's from Temu, but lots of places sell the card with the wooden effect. And then within the embossing folder it's got like knots and stuff like a tree trunk would have, but I didn't want that in this bit because it's a bit too small for that. I just wanted kind of like the lines that a tree would have. So I'm a little bit picky where I place it, make sure it's not on a knot. And because it's a 2D embossing folder, you just use the one shim in the Gemini MIDI. And I didn't realise, but the card's white stock, white centre, and I thought, So I dig out a dark brown pen and just very lightly kind of wipe it over very gently, the white bits on the card that have now been embossed, because obviously I don't want white bits in the trunk. I only really do just over halfway, because obviously the other half's going to be under the tree and you're not going to see it, so I didn't waste my time doing it. Apart from on this bit I did, and then I thought, hang on a minute, why am I doing that? I don't need to. And then I just do around the edges. Gives it a nice bit of definition as well. And then I glue it actually to the tree. I just wanted to make sure it was going to look okay. I felt the tree wasn't quite finished without the trunk. And then I'm going to attach it with tacky glue, because it is a slightly coated cardstock, and the tacky glue is a little bit less runny than my all-purpose Kalau, and obviously it's tacky quicker. And then I kind of roughly get the centre of the tree. Give that a couple of seconds. And then I decide that I want to prop the tree up just a little bit. So I add 3D foam, sorry, my mind went blank then, 3D foam tape. Oh dear, my brain's gone completely blank. You know what I mean. Sticky 3D foam stuff. Oh dear. And then on top of that I will add a little bit of tacky glue, which I always do when I use foam tape. I also add it underneath, but I added Kalau on this one because it's only going on normal cardstock. But always on the top I'll use a little bit of tacky glue. Make sure the card's open in the right way. And then stick it roughly in the middle. And then I decided that before I put the baubles on the tree I wanted a bit of kind of string light type effect, and I've got this on another set that goes with another Christmas tree, and I thought, yeah, that would look quite nice, so I cut that again in the same gold glitter card, and this is from this is the set that it's from. It's actually in a 3-drawer box set from Crafter's Companion, and that's the tree that it's from down the bottom there. Yeah, it's a big Christmas craft box, and it's got like 3 separate boxes within it. I've had it a few years, it's not available anymore from Crafter's Companion anyway. I don't know if it's available anywhere else online. And then I'm having fun trying to peel off the back end for the sticky, and eventually find it. I do peel the whole of the backing off on this one because it's not overly big. You can control it a bit easier. And again, like I do with everything, I'm just adding a little bit of tacky glue, just a small bit, because it's going on the embossing powder. I just wanted to make sure it's going to stick, because I make to sell. I want to know that it's going to last through the post, or, you know, at least make it to Christmas for a city. And then obviously it doesn't go to the bottom of the tree, so what I've done is I've cut it again, but I've cut it from like the bottom, so the larger bit, and then when I'm gluing it on, I'm trying to glue it so that it's it looks attached, not detached. And again, add a little bit of tacky glue. And then I just put a little weight on it just to allow it to dry. And then I just add a little bit of tacky glue here and there, and add different coloured gemstones. So I've got red, green, gold, in different sizes, and I just add them here, there and everywhere, wherever I kind of think they look nice, really. And then this is for the inside of the card, so I always do an insert. I do it mostly because if a stamp goes wrong, although I've got stamping platforms, I don't like to get them out just for a small a small stamp inside, and just in case it goes wrong. And I think it looks nicer as well. And if there's heaviness on the front, I find if you put an insert, then it helps to balance the card so it doesn't topple over. So I always do an insert. And this is slightly smaller than the actual size of the card base, so it's just under the 6 3/4 by 5 1/4. Literally just a fraction under, just enough for the card to close. And then I use the same gold that I've put on the outside, same ink, and I use the little stars again, and I just do a couple in the corner, just to tie in the front with the inside. And then I've got this Holly Jolly which I put on the front, and I'm giving it a matte layer onto the same gold gold glitter card. And whilst that's drying, I then stamp my sentiment for the inside, which is "Have a holly jolly Christmas." And I do get out my stamping platform for this one. I don't always, but it must have been already out. Yeah, it was, because I used the top part in the video earlier, so it must have been on my desk. I'm a bit of a lazy one sometimes. And then again, I stamp in the same gold, so it's all coordinating. And try and do it roughly in the centre. Sorry if you can hear any fiddling, my laptop's about to run out of batteries. I'm just finding the plug-in for it. Bear with me. There we go, sorry about that. And then I use the little stars again, and I'm just putting them at the top in a little gap there, and then there's a little gap at the bottom. Sorry, someone walking past my window, if you heard that. And then I'm going to fussy cut around the mat here with the gold glitter card, just so that it's got a small mat. And this Holly Jolly sentiment is from Hunky Dory Essential Book of Sentiments, Christmas 2023. And then I'll just get my little snippy scissors and go around the corners to try and make them as round as you can. I'm not very good at cutting round, but it turns out okay, so I'm quite happy with that. I didn't really have any dies to kind of fit this, so I had to do it by hand and be brave. And then I'm just going to add some little small square foam pads. Well, I hope you've liked my little haul. I've only actually shopped from Chloe's Craft twice. Like I say, I've got another video coming up with another haul that I've done. It's all from her sale items. And I do another card make with that, with one of the items from that as well. So if you can subscribe, and then you won't miss any of my future videos. But hopefully I've given you some inspiration. Hope you like it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, because it will help with the algorithm and let YouTube know that you like my videos, and it will help me to sort of reach the top. And then on the insert here, I've let the ink dry a little bit, and then I just do one strip down the inner side of double-sided tape, and I only stick the one side down, and it's on the inside of the card, so like the middle bit. But I line it up to the outside before I stick it down. You see some better photos towards the end of the video. And then I make an envelope. So I use the Ultimate Pro, which actually uses centimetres, so the card measures 17 by 13 centimetres. And then the measurements are in this book that comes with the Ultimate Pro. And because it's got foam pads and gemstones on the front, I can't have a flat envelope, so I need it to be slightly deeper than a flat envelope, and the smallest is the 12mm. So across the top you need to find your measurement, which is 17, and then down the side I measure it up to 13, and then sort of join the lines together, and then it will give me the measurement of the cardstock that I need to cut, which is always in a square. So I need to cut it to 248mm. And then on the board I need to score at G and J and positions 1 and 2. And then that blue bit that you can see that I'm on, it tells me on the side there that I can only make the envelope from an A3 card or a 12 by 12 card. And then on the board here you've got the A, B, C, D, etc. So it will be G and J, and then this little triangle bit here is where you put the corner into, and it's either 1, 2 or 3, and I need to use 1 and 2, and it attaches to the back of the board. So I cut the white cardstock from A3 to 248mm square. And then in the corners here, so I'm putting the corner in, so that's position 1, and then I look along for G or J, and then I'll score it a couple of times. So this corner and then the opposite one will be the G1, and then the other 2 opposite corners will be the other measurement. If you need it to be a lot thicker, so say you've got a really deep card, what you're normally supposed to do is do the 2 measurements with the 2 position points on the same corners, and then it gives you the depth. But because I only need it to be a minuscule depth, I find that I can do the 2 opposite corners, and it just gives me that little bit of room to play with, because it's only gems and it's not a really deep card. So if I had like floral card where I made my own flowers and they were a lot thicker, then I would do the card how it says. So it would be each corner would be G and J 1 and 2 position, and that 1 and 2 position will give me a 12mm gap, or whatever the other measurements would be for the whatever depth you need it to be. I hope that makes sense. But because, like I say, I've only got gemstones and they're not really any deeper than the foam pads, I don't need it to be really thick, and doing it this way gives me just enough depth. It's slightly thicker than if I had measured it as a flat envelope, because that's a lot tighter in space. So I do all my envelopes, if I'm only got gems and a bit of foam pad on, then this is how I do all of them, rather than for the deeper ones then I do the 2 measurements on all corners. And then I fold my card, and I find it easier to fold, and then I cut these little corner bits off, and then it allows you to fold the corners, all the corners in, without cutting these little bits off. You can't do that. And I use double-sided sticky tape to seal my envelopes. I've got 3 different sizes, because sometimes the envelopes only have a very small gap to be able to put the tape on. Others will have a slightly thicker gap, and I buy mine from Hunky Dory because they have 3 different measurements, so it's very handy. If I was making it for maybe like flowers, so if I'd made like foam flowers, obviously they take a lot of time to make, then I would use red liner tape, and again that comes in 3 different widths. And then I use the corner round punch and just round off all my corners. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of a nice touch on the envelope, just to kind of bring them all together. It's not a lot, it's just gives it a little bit of something. And it's just the little stars that I done on the inside, and I done around the Christmas tree on the front, and I just do 2 on one corner and then 2 on the other, which is actually 4 stars because you get a smaller one and then a very small one. And I just do them sort of opposite and opposite corners as well. So yeah, I hope I've inspired you. I hope you've learnt something as well, you know, with the envelope making and all the rest of it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And then I find on the corners that when you fold them in, the card bends a little bit and it's a bit messy, so I just trim them at an angle like that. Just on the sides, not on the top or the bottom, just on the sides, but on the top and the bottom of the side panels, if that makes sense. And it enables you to fold them in a lot better. And then I just loosely sort of fold it over and glue it to the, and then like I say, as you can see there, it gives you just enough depth for some gemstones. It's not a completely flat card. And then I put the double-sided tape on the top, which obviously the customer then takes off and tapes the card closed. So yeah, I hope you like it. I do. I think it's a nice card. I love the stamp and the die. It gives it a nice full effect tree, which I've been looking for quite a while. Like I say, I've only done, this is only my second purchase from, I've kind of got the purchases the other way round, but with the videos, but was the actual second purchase that I've done with Chloe's Creative Cards, and there'll definitely be more. And then next up, not the next video, but the one after will actually be, or the next video, I can't remember now, will be the other haul from Chloe's Cards. And like I say, it's quite a lot more that I bought, and they're all from the sale, so make sure you subscribe so you can see it all. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.